Hey, chiropractors, welcome to Modern Chiropractic Mastery with your host, Dr. Kevin Christie, where we discuss the latest in marketing, business, and professional growth with some of the leading experts in the industry. Welcome to another episode of Modern Chiropractic Mastery. Today, I'm bringing on a couple, two chiropractors, husband and wife, Dr. Katie Kula and Dr. Joseph Kula. And they have been in our West Mastermind for the last few years. But we're really talking about the topic of hard things worth doing. It was something I've been chewing on, that phrase, and I wanted to have them on a chat to talk about it because in 2025 they took on some hard things, but that were worth doing, and they are on the other side of it now, and we also go back to when they started practice and some other obstacles faced, and just try to give the chiropractor listening the understanding that success isn't this linear progression straight up. It's challenging. There's obstacles. There's certain things that are hard, that are not fun, and you wish didn't happen, but you have to overcome it. Then there are some things that, they're hard, but they're really like, yeah, this is a positive. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but this is a positive. And so we talk about that and some of their experiences around that. Before we do dive into that, we have put up our 2027 mastermind details. There are some spots available on the West Mastermind, and it's going to be a great group out there. That group has really grown. And it's been exciting to see that. And we will be in Palm Springs, California. We're going to be in Austin, Texas. And also, we're going to be in Hood River, Oregon. And our East-West Mastermind will be in Chicago. So check that out. Just go to our website, modernchiropracticmastery.com, and you can see the Mastermind tab up there and all the details of who our guest presenters are and the topics and locations and dates, and we'd love to have you. Just fill out the form and request more information. So without further ado, here is my interview with Dr. Katie Kula and Dr. Joseph Kula. All right, I'm excited to have Dr. Katie and Joe Kula on our podcast today. I've gotten to know them over the last few years from the Mastermind, and something that I heard from a strategic coach member, a phrase, hard things worth doing, really stuck out to me, and I wanted to do a interview on that. And these two docs were the first ones I thought of because in 2025, they did a lot of things that were hard and worth doing, and over a culmination of a career as well. And I think sometimes we forget in a great career, there's going to be amazing things. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be things that are hard to do and really exciting on the other end of it. And it's a net positive. And then sometimes we're going to run into major obstacles that we don't want to have or deal with, but we have to, and we have to put out that fire. And that's a hard thing worth doing. And so I wanted to have them on there. Before we dive into some of the specifics, I think, Joe, you're going to lead us off. Give us a little bit of background on your guys as a family and where you practice, a little bit about all that, and we'll get into it.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for having us on. Katie and I are husband-wife business partners. We met in chiropractic school at Logan. We've been practicing for about 16 years each. We've owned our practice for the past 11 years. We have two daughters, Marlo and Sylvia, 8 and 6 years old. And when they heard we were going to be on a podcast, they told us, Mom and Dad, you are famous. Oh my gosh. And so we just want to say thanks for inviting us on the podcast, and we're honored to be part of this opportunity to share and contribute.
You might be more infamous than famous after this episode, but I hope the fame doesn't get to your head, Joe.
We'll try not to, I guess.
So let's go back a little bit. 2025, I think was a really pivotal year for both of you, but let's talk about where, in a career where the challenges start. So I know you guys met in chiropractic school, the Harvard of chiropractic schools, right? Logan University.
Correct.
What year did you guys graduate? And then where did you end up right after that?
I graduated in December of 2009.
and I graduated in 2010.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
and so after chiropractic school at Logan, we had an opportunity to take an associate position in Seattle, Washington. And that position was actually under another married couple, Dr. Jim Kurtz and Dr. Ming Ming Sue Brown.
Mhm.
And that associate position was just a great stepping stone in our career. They were great clinical mentors of ours. And also, we got to witness what it was like for a married chiropractic couple to run a practice. So that was a special learning experience for us as well. And we spent 4 years as associates in Seattle. And we just really used that time while we were there to practice our clinical skills and really work on honing our craft.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
did you want to move out to the Pacific Northwest, or was it an opportunity for associate positions there? And that was really like, okay, yeah, we're gonna be willing to move for a good job, because I think sometimes it's challenging for young chiropractors that are graduating, where they may decide they want to be in one specific area and they have to find a job in that one specific area, and that can be hard. Was it something where you just found an opportunity and say, yeah, we can make this work by moving out to Seattle together?
Yeah, Kevin, I had an opportunity to do a preceptorship in Portland, Oregon with
Mhm.
Dr. Ted Forkum, and that was another great experience
Yeah.
that led to a job opportunity up in Seattle with Dr. Kurtz and Dr. Sue Brown. And yeah, that was definitely a hard thing for us to move from the comfort of our homelands, Missouri and Illinois. But we were also adventurous, and we were looking forward to Seattle and just everything that had to offer, along with the clinical opportunity with Northwest Sports Rehab.
Yeah, that's something that we don't think about too often, is how hard it can be to make that decision to uproot for career opportunities. And people in other fields obviously do that all the time, and it does increase your ability to get really good opportunities that can speed your progression forward in a profession. So now let's move on to, okay, 4 years associateship, decide to open up your own practice. What did that look like as far as picking out a location and getting all that going? And what year would that have been, like around 2014 or so?
Y- Yes, we actually got married in 2013, and then in 2014 started looking at where we wanted to raise our family and start building our future together. And there's this beautiful area in the scenic Columbia River Gorge, and we found an opportunity in a small town called White Salmon, Washington. And we had looked at buying a practice,
Mhm.
starting a practice in the gorge, and we ended up getting an opportunity to buy a practice from a chiropractor who was retiring.
Nice, nice. And I'm excited to visit that area in the summer of 2027 for the West Mastermind. It's
We are excited to host the mastermind group. That's going to be epic.
Yeah, it's inked in. We're in. Chiropractors, if your website traffic or Google Maps visibility has felt a little unpredictable lately, you're not imagining it. A lot is changing behind the scenes. AI is reshaping how search results show up. Competition in the map pack is getting tougher, and simply ranking well does not always translate into new patients. That's why Propel Marketing and Design is hosting a free chiropractic SEO workshop. You'll learn what's actually changing with Google Maps, how AI is impacting the way patients find and choose clinics, and what small, realistic updates you can make this year to stay visible and competitive. This is not a high level talk or a bunch of jargon. It's a practical step by step workshop built for busy clinic owners who want clear direction and next steps they can actually implement. Save your spot for free at propelyourcompany.com/MCM-SCO-workshop-2026. And we'll see you there. So that's obviously a hard thing worth doing is buying a practice and doing that and getting it going. And from there, now I want to fast forward to 2020, right? 2020, I know was hard on a lot of people. I think it was in particular hard on you guys. There's a lot going on there, but obviously some of it was very well worth doing, as we can imagine. But tell us about your 2020. Obviously, we know it's the pandemic, but what else is going on in your world?
Yeah, we know 2020 was hard for a lot of other folks, so we don't want to minimize the challenges that anyone else went through. Um, let's see. So Katie had our second baby in March, so that was a big thing. And then 10 days later, the world shut down. We were planning to have a lot of family out to see our second baby, and that didn't happen. Um,
And then on top of just having a baby during the start of a global pandemic, we had just signed a lease in a new clinic building.
Yeah.
So our first 5 years when we were in White Salmon, we were in this old clinic building that literally we had calamities right and left in that space where we had a swarm of bees that colonnaded in one of our treatment rooms.
Yeah.
And whenever there was a heavy rainstorm, it would flood. And so there were so many stressful situations that happened in this old building. So we were really excited that we had an opportunity to move into this new clinic space.
Yeah.
But what the timeline that was happening is that the build out was going to start just as I had had our second child. And we had no idea what was about to unfold through 2020. And so our lease was ending in this old space, but the new space was not going to be available. The build out was not going to be complete for about 5 months. And so there was this inconvenient overlap that we had to move into our temporary space while the new clinic was being built out. And so we ended up finding this former corporate office building where we actually treated our patients behind cubicles while we were waiting for the new clinic to be built. And we had just had a new baby and there was a global pandemic. So that was a stressful year.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
still provided high quality care behind those cubicles.
that's right. And I a couple things that come to my mind here, I think that are good learning lessons for people is one is your patient base can be very resilient when they trust their doctors. Like they'll get treated in cubicles. They'll move a couple times. They'll do all that because they have ultimate trust in you guys, and it's amazing what they can deal with, which is always good. And I think that's something to consider. And I know, like, to elaborate a little on the backdrop, because like as it is right now, and as we record this, basically April of 2026, you guys have an awesome practice, right? You guys it's really cool what you've built, and it's amazing. You can have a challenging 10 years, 15 years and have a great practice. You can have a challenging year or challenges within a year and have a great year. And it's pretty cool when you look back on it and say, wow, 2020 was really hard, but an awesome child came from that. The space that you ended up in came from that, right? All those things led to something really great on the other side of it. And so it's something that we have to keep on realizing as we do this, because ultimately I feel like when you're a business owner, you become a chief problem solver, right? And you got to solve these problems and just know and have trust in the fact that you are going to solve it and it will be okay. What are some of the insights you have from that going through that in 2020 and where you're at now?
Yeah, Kevin, exactly what you just said, and that we have definitely had seasons of business ownership where things have felt really hard and really heavy. And, sometimes your team that you have a decade into practice hasn't seen all of those things that you've been through and all of those challenges you face and obstacles you've overcome. But what we remind ourselves on a pretty regular basis is that people who are up to big things sometimes run into big problems. And that's, I guess we know that we've taken on an adventurous lifestyle by moving away from the safety net of our family. And we know we've moved twice and, um, started a practice and done a build out and eventually bought a building. And all of those things have sometimes been big problems that we've
Mm.
had to find our way through. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just want to add, Katie and I try to have the mindset. Um, what are we choosing to create,
Mm.
and what decisions align with that? Because our choices create the future. And yeah, that 2020, there were a lot of we had the choice of moving to improve our clinic space. There were a lot of challenges that came along with that, but we're in a much better place now
Yeah.
because of that.
where we are now has definitely allowed us to expand our practice and grow into some of those goals we've had for ourselves professionally. And one of our big accomplishments that we've achieved is we have a clinic gym hybrid. So we've
Yep.
started group fitness classes, and we're really proud of that. Our
Yeah,
our clinic model is an integrated approach. So we do chiropractic, soft tissue, and therapeutic rehab exercise. And that did just feel like a natural transition to be able to offer that functional performance in those fitness classes to our patients. And didn't have that potential in the old space. So moving into our new space definitely helped us achieve that.
yeah, and I wanna touch on, like, the Joe mentioned the choices and stuff. I think one of the things that you 2 have maintained over the years is a big vision, and I think when you have a big vision, it allows for you to make accurate choices that are sometimes hard and seem like they're daunting, but it's leading towards that bigger vision, which is great. And another thing that I've finally learned to do, it took a while. I've had my practice for 16 years and I've been practicing for 21 years was I actually sat down with my associate Gage um, a couple years ago when he took the job, and we kind of went over the history of the practice. I kind of went over like, yeah, this year that was, it was a nightmare year, and this decision here, and just so he had the context of what health fit my practice was the things that get here, right? So I feel like he's got a good understanding, and I think it would make sense to almost do that for any team member hire as part of the onboarding is sitting down with one of you and saying, oh, so you know the history of the practice and what we've done um, to grow this. It's been with the help of team members like you in the past, and so they have the context of like, yeah, this isn't, A, hasn't been easy. B, you're not like having to bury money in the backyard in the mattress because it's coming out of your ears and stuff like that. And just know like this is taking a lot of hard work as a team, and even maybe spotlighting some of the previous team members that were awesome and maybe they moved on to do other things or whatever. I think would be a pretty good idea for practice owners to start doing.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
uh, definitely. I think perspective matters a lot, right? And I one of the things we actually as parents tell our kids is when we're faced with a circumstance, is this a big problem or a little problem is
Mhm.
what we say to our kids, but it's also something I use for myself occasionally and with my team when leading them. And a lot of times when you're first starting out in practice and in business ownership, you're you're overwhelmed with a lot of little problems. But I think every time you figure it out, every time you navigate your way through, you gain that confidence. You know you're more capable. You start to trust yourself and your intuition on what decisions to make and what's important. And I think that that's how you can show up as a leader for your team is knowing that they know that you've had some experience under your belt and that you're going to guide them through and that you can help sort out what's a big problem, what's a little problem.
Let's take a short break from today's episode to tell you about the best decision I've made in my clinic in the last 10 years, and that has been adding shockwave therapy to our clinic. The outcomes have been really impressive. Certain conditions we were struggling with in the past, we're now seeing results with the shockwave therapy for that. And second of all, the ROI has been really good. You know, when you make a big investment in something, you want to see a return, and we're seeing that return in clinical outcomes and in our investment, and that's been really nice to see. I chose Keenest Medical for 4 reasons. One is the technology is top notch. You have to have great technology. There's a lot out there that isn't quite up to snuff. The second thing is they have a really good clinical training. They have an exclusive partnership with Academy of Shockwave Excellence so that you can become clinically proficient in shockwave. You do need to get skilled at it. I think that's a big differentiator between practices that are getting great results and seeing the ROI is they have a great clinical aspect to that as well. So you want to get trained appropriately. Third is they have in-house service team for all of your technical support, which is key when you're investing in a machine like this. And then lastly, they have a very in-depth marketing and business support for you so that you can launch this into your practice effectively, that you can get that ROI on it, that you can get the clinical outcomes. And they also have really good financing options if you need that. So go to kinasmedical.com, KINAS medical.com, mention MCM podcast and receive a free shockwave in practice book with a purchase of a unit. So that's kinasmedical.com, KINAS medical.com, and mention MCM podcast. Let's now take 2025. There was a lot going on in 2025. Some of it probably bled from 2024. I forget what year it was where I know that I'll set a little bit of context on the building, but then I want you to backtrack a little bit. There's other things, EHRs and things. But I know that at one point, because you were leasing the space from somebody, and it became kind of ambiguous as to um, what was going to happen with that, because I know the guy wanted to sell it, but it was asking for a particular price that might have been a little crazy. Um, you guys had first right of refusal, but it was really putting the foundation of your practice, your where you practice in limbo a little bit. Was that in 2024 where that started to happen? I forget where he was kind of putting a sale price on there, and you didn't know if you were going to be able to match that, if you'd have to move. What was some of the details of that?
Yeah, that was early spring 2024, and that definitely came and was a source of uncertainty to us. And we definitely utilize our mastermind group, our West Coast mastermind group, to help navigate the challenges that came up from that. So we appreciate the group and all the supportive members. That's been a huge help for us.
Yeah, and I know that. Go ahead, Katie. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in 2024, uh, what happened is we found out that there was an interested buyer,
Yeah.
and that the building was potentially going to be sold at a price that was higher than we were capable of matching. That sale did not end up going through, so the building did sit on the market for another year and a half, and then in 2025 is where I guess that's kind of where the story starts, where it gets
Yep.
exciting. And
Yeah.
Do you want me to continue, or you want to
Yeah,
ask a question on that?
no, yeah, we're gonna kind of finish on a high note with that, but
Okay.
let's go back into some of the earlier parts of 2025 where I know that there were some obstacles in the practice that you had to navigate, and then I know shortly after navigating those is when the opportunity to buy the practice. But what were some of those obstacles you guys faced in 2025?
Well, early 2025, we actually celebrated our 10-year clinic anniversary. So that was really fun. We had a big party in our parking lot and had a lot of patients and community members come over to celebrate with us. So that was we started on a good note.
Yeah.
And then as we went along, we discovered that our old EHR was becoming obsolete. So we were forced into a situation where we had to choose a new EHR
Yeah.
by August of 2025.
And that's
And then,
something where, I can feel your pain because I had that old EHR for many years too. You and I, the three of us would sometimes complain to each other about that. I had switched EHRs a few years ago, but being forced into an EHR change on someone else's timeline is never easy. And then just changing EHRs in general is hard. So that
that
was a
was something we
challenge.
had never done before.
Yeah.
We had the same EHR for 10 years. So yeah, admittedly, switching EHRs has definitely been a big problem that we're figuring out, day by day, week by week. But yeah, as any chiropractor who's listening that's gone through an EHR transition knows, that's not an easy thing to get through.
Yeah, that's usually one that's like if you get that done and that's the only thing you get done in 1 year, that's a successful year. So you you tackled that. I want to tell you about something my clinic has recently integrated because I think it's relevant to much of what we talk about on this show. If you're maxed out and can't take new patients, or patients are getting better and just leaving, you don't have a clinical problem, you have a systems problem. That's what P2P pathway solves for you. It's a model that takes your patients from rehab into ongoing strength and performance programming inside your existing practice using Tonal's AI driven equipment. No trainer required, no separate gym build out. The result is recurring monthly revenue that doesn't depend on how many patients you can personally see in a day. They run live seminars where they walk you through the entire system, hands on, in person. Attendees also get exclusive discounts on equipment, including Tonal, that you can't get anywhere else. Seats are limited. The link is in the show notes. If you're serious about adding a recurring revenue stream to your practice, this is worth your 2 days. So check out www.p2ppathway.com. What else was going on in 2025 that was hard?
Day after we launched our new EHR, our associate that had been with us for 3 years told us that he was planning to move. And so he gave us his notice. So he worked with us a couple more months. And then um, this was kind of putting us into the uh, last quarter of 2025. So I think the week after our associate left, a notification landed on our desk that there was a very serious offer to buy our building, and that with a very urgent timeline as well.
Mhm.
And if we were to match this offer, we had to jump on it. And so that definitely created a scramble and a very unexpected um, situation that we were finding ourselves in, where we were still learning our new EHR. Our associate had just left, so we
Yeah.
were covering his patient load. And now we were in this circumstance where if we wanted to buy our building, we were going to have to do it by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that definitely required us to um, take it to the next level. And this was a very high stakes, complex process that we had never been in before. And it definitely required us to lean on the team of advisors that we had thankfully had been utilizing all through
Mm.
owning a practice, but were there and ready for us when we needed them. We had an attorney that we trusted and was very instrumental in helping us make this transaction happen. We had a financial advisor, a real estate agent that we trusted and was very connected in the community, and uh,
Accountant.
yeah, an accountant, and our banker, lender, and also you, Kevin. We definitely want to acknowledge you for being our coach through MCM and the mastermind, and you definitely gave us some
Guidance.
sound guidance and advice, especially when things were feeling very stressful and very uncertain. Um, it, so we want to just
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And, I mean, you guys put in the hard work. And one of the things, just for clarification too, is I know you guys had the kind of first right of refusal on that. So that was why you were able to have the opportunity to match. They couldn't sell it without you guys first, either doing it yourself or passing on it. And so that was smart to have that in your lease from the beginning. And ultimately, you both set yourselves up to be able to handle a scenario like this, right? Like you've put in the work, you've done well in practice, you've saved some nickels to make it happen, and all that, right? Like it was. You got to give yourself a lot of credit that you put yourself in a position 10 years into a practice to be able to buy a building. Not everybody can do that, and typically, again, like we kind of with the AHR, usually you can proactively plan that out. You were kind of forced into an EHR, and typically when you go to buy a building, it's something you're planning for, and like it's on your terms. Is usually not something that's like you got 90 days to figure it out, but you were able to make that happen. And one of the things I loved about it was when was your closing date? What was the exact date?
Our closing date was December 19th, and this transaction happened in 45 days.
Yeah. And you wanted to make
Yeah,
sure
so
you got it done that year.
yeah, that we had to do all of this during the holiday season while making the holidays special for our children. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it's definitely speaks to the idea that sometimes hard things are thrust upon us unexpectedly,
Yeah.
and we are forced to deal with them no matter if we like it or not, right? And there's a lot of uncomfortable decision making that has to happen in those circumstances. And then there are definitely other times when you choose to do hard things, and sometimes those feel a little more empowering, right? Because
Yeah.
you're making the choice to take that on because it's necessary to achieve a goal. But the reality is that lessons are learned from both circumstances, and you learn to navigate the storms. And uh, we actually live in a very windy place, so literally wind is constantly blowing through the Columbia River Gorge. And so the analogy of a tree that has to put up with a lot of wind and storms, um, the more that tree is stressed by wind and storms, the more strong its roots grow. And so we often just have that analogy of just we're just growing more resilient roots.
Yeah. Definitely. Joe, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it just our background growing up playing a lot of sports helped us. We've always wanted to win, and
Yeah.
part of that is problem solving, just figuring out how to problem solve all these challenges, and at each stage of the practice, getting through these challenges has grown those roots to help make us stronger and also empower us to have the confidence to be able to tackle what we don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you guys used an analogy earlier about what you teach your kids. One of the things that I've always chewed on was it's like that saying is you can't prepare the world for your kids. You need to prepare the kids for the world, right? And when you
Definitely.
decide
Yeah.
when you decide to become a small business owner or just a chiropractor in general, but when you really double it up with being a chiropractor that has to take care of patients, which is hard enough, and you become a business owner, is you need to prepare yourself and your practice for the world, right? Versus trying to prepare the world for your practice yourself, because it's just not going to work that way. And just like you want to develop resilient kids, you need to develop resilience in yourself and in your business. And the good news is that you can become even more resilient, and it is by taking these things on. It doesn't make it easy. It doesn't like we all have the fear around it. It's just maintaining the courage around there, and then ultimately you have the resilience, and now you guys are on the other side of it, which is amazing.
It I just wanna say that, it's been so helpful to have a team of advisors to help with some of these situations as well. Having business coaches and your financial planner and just a support group, and, also acknowledging my wife, Katie. She's been a great partner through all these different challenges. Just having somebody at your side to put your mind together on these
Yeah.
things has just been so helpful.
Yeah. Well, I acknowledge Joe too. And
There we go.
it's definitely we are stronger together, and we have endured a lot of storms, and it- it's not there are a lot of chiropractic couples, and maybe there
Yeah.
are a lot of chiropractic couples that listen to the podcast, and so it is a unique relationship, right? When your spouse and you are both chiropractors, so we do understand each other's struggles. We know what it's like to um work with patients. We both come home with chart notes, every day that we have to figure out how to get done, and also take care of our kids, and try to do some self-care for
Yeah.
ourselves, and so that part of, like, we really do understand each other and what we're going through, but we also do have a shared work ethic where
Yeah.
Joe and I both do, I guess, again, coming from an athletic background. We both like to win, and we both are not afraid to work hard, and that's been our motto from the very beginning. And I think just going back to how we set ourselves up for success, um, just those early grind years of when we graduated from chiropractic school, and we worked as associates for
Yeah.
4 to 5 years. The things that we focused on, Joe,
Mhm.
we were just pouring ourselves into, mastering our craft with postgraduate continuing education, and also we were determined to pay down our student loan debt, and I say that because that's also a hard thing worth
Yeah.
doing, right? Like,
Yeah.
our chiropractic education is hard. Student loan debt is stressful, but it can be paid off, and it
Yeah.
doesn't get paid off overnight. Ours took about 12 years, and I literally drove the same car that I drove in chiropractic school until my student loans were paid off. And so um, then that, like, determination, and I guess the grit and the
Yeah.
grind to just push through that, then we were more financially stable to buy a practice,
Yeah.
to buy a building, and so I think those habits were really important early on in our career.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to have you guys on, because getting to know you the last few years, I do know a lot of your story, and it's one of those things. Like, if we rewound to when you both moved out to the Pacific Northwest after graduation, if you were to tell yourselves that in March of 2026 you would have paid off your student loan debt, you would have built a really awesome clinic gym hybrid practice, that you would own the building, you'd have two wonderful kids. you would have signed on the dotted line, like right there, right? Even if you would have said, yeah, you're going to have to go through a pandemic, you have to have a child during a pandemic, you're going to lose associate, you're going to have to, it's going to be a real pain in the ass to buy this building. You would sign up for that back then based on what you've achieved now. I think you would agree.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I remember having conversations with Katie in chiropractic school about what we wanted a practice to look like, and I would say what we have now is definitely that vision back then, and we still have more vision and more growth. We didn't know what we didn't know back then, for
Yeah.
sure. We didn't know all these challenges that would come about, but we are committed to figuring these things out so that we can win. And we want to optimize our license and our practice, and you got to go through those challenges to get there.
We have a lot of purpose in what we do. We love the community that we serve, and we love the patients that we have, and delivering high level quality care to get them the best outcomes. That keeps us showing up every day, and so that's another reason I think you push yourself through the hard things, is
Yeah.
because you know that you want to be there to show up for your patients, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's cool about, because you guys have about 15 years under your belt now, and so you're kind of hitting into that second half of the professional career, is now you've really set just an amazing foundation, and you've set the skill of resiliency to navigate the other things. And so now it's kind of just again, I use this analogy a lot. I learned from a podcast. Is like the first half of life is building the vessel, and the second half is filling the vessel. And now you guys are able to kind of fill that vessel of your lives, both personally and professionally. And it's excited to keep on growing a bigger vision.
Yeah, it's important to dream big, and I think it's also really important to surround yourself with people who encourage you to dream big and bigger. And that is actually what the mastermind has been for us. And admittedly, I mean, Joe and we are workhorses, and
Mhm.
as we talked about, we will figure out how to solve problems, but we're not necessarily the first people to like jump on the bandwagon or the new idea or the new gadget. But I think we eventually get there just because we work hard and we figure it out and navigate our way through. But it's been really fun to be part of the mastermind, because I think it's shown us that there are possibilities out there that we've never even thought of or dreamed of, that we know we could achieve. And it's been just really incredible to be part of a group of chiropractors that's up to big things.
Well, thanks for being the founding members of the West Mastermind in 2024. It's been awesome. And I just want to thank both of you for hopping on here. I want to thank both of you for trusting the mastermind group with a lot of the stuff you have going on. And it's been cool for us to learn from you two as well. That's what's the beauty of it, is not only do each of us learn from just being in the mastermind, but we learn from each other, and we provide a lot of help and support for everybody. So I want to thank you for that. So
Thank you so much, Kevin.
definitely. Well, thanks again. And I look forward to seeing you all pretty soon.
That's right.
Looking forward to it.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And if you want to make the shift from busy, broke, and broken to time-free and cash confident, or you just want to continue with the exponential growth, check us out at modernchiropracticmarketing.com. Look at the MCM Mastery tab, watch the short video on there, and check out what we are doing now for evidence-informed chiropractors. We are equal parts coaching and marketing done for you. Yes, you shoot some videos, we help you with campaign strategies and ideas and really become a thought leader in your community. You shoot those videos, you send them to us, we produce, edit, and brand them to you. Then we distribute them through all of your channels. We also take them and we turn it into one good blog per month. And every other month, we have Darcy Sullivan producing a robust blog with a topic that you pick from her database to help with your SEO. So we essentially become your content marketing agency to make sure your practice is always having ethical, elegant content marketing to help grow your practice. On the coaching side, we also help you with everything from marketing ideas to business, communications, finances, anything practice growth, and really try to help prevent you from being stuck on that island. And we hold you accountable. We have a great group of doctors that are just doing amazing things, and we look forward to help you out to take that next step in your practice. So again, check us out at modernchiropracticmarketing.com and learn more.